Norway. Definitely Norway. Soil?
Hello, and welcome to Digital Spy's latest Doctor Who video review. There's a magic mirror on the wall, but did this episode rise or fall? Love it or loathe it, you can't accuse It Takes You Away of being short on ideas. It's bursting with wild and wonderful concepts, but too many, which means that while the episode is sporadically brilliant, it's also hugely inconsistent. Things get off to a decent start, and the horror movie concept of our heroes trapped in a spooky old cottage fending off something terrible on the outside would be fuel enough for a decent story. But it's not long before the episode's monster is revealed as smoke and magic mirrors, a twist that makes the episode's atmospheric opening feel a little aimless. That feeling of pointlessness extends to scenes set in the Anti-Zone. The episode's second act, set in Doctor Who's take on Stranger Things upside down, again throws ideas at us, but without ever fully developing them. Kevin Eldon's ribbons, the flesh-eating moths that devour him, characters and concepts that are barely introduced before they're brushed aside. Even more frustrating is that the episode's overly busy nature means that Hannah and her family's compelling plight ends up fading into the background. It's as we discover what's really going on, as writer Ed Heim picks one story and sticks with it, that things start to come together. A sentient universe has been expelled from our reality and just wants some company, taking on forms that will appeal to outsiders. For Graham, that means a reunion with Grace, or at least something that looks like her, and Bradley Walsh is utterly heartbreaking here. Graham's reaction on seeing his wife again is note perfect in both scripting and performance. Loss and letting go is what this episode's final act is all about. Even the Solitract gives up something it badly wants, while a heroic doctor volunteers to sacrifice herself to save Eric. Ryan learns to let go of his issues and move on too, finally accepting Graham as his surrogate granddad. Aww. It's a strong climax, one that largely saves It Takes You Away. But even the episode's ending isn't without fault, which brings us to the talking frog. Imagine how much more powerful the Doctor's farewell would have been if the Solitract had just taken on Grace's form again, or taken on the form of someone the Doctor had loved and lost. Seriously, who thought the talking frog was a good idea? This latest Doctor Who ends up as both brilliant and baffling. A Nordic noir horror that's also a touching reflection on grief and loss, and a load of silly old guff with an animated amphibian. Its overambition is its greatest flaw. Now, on to this week's big Doctor Who questions. Number 1. Will the Solitract return? The Doctor isn't sure if the Solitract survived. Is it still alive? Could it come back? And will it ever find some company? We do feel sorry for that friendless frog. Number 2. Did the Doctor really have 7 grandmothers? Doctor Who has previously made reference to the Doctor's mother, who's either a human from Earth or that Time Lord who stared down David Tennant in The End of Time. But there's never been any real talk of a grandmother before, and if the Doctor really did have 7, then maybe he had more than one mother. One human, one Gallifreyan. The mind boggles. Number 3. How long has the Doctor known about the Zygons? The Doctor says that Granny number 5 thought that Granny number 2 was a Zygon secret agent. But wait, didn't the Doctor first meet the Zygons in his 4th incarnation? Technically yes, but there's nothing in 1975's Terror of the Zygons to suggest that he hasn't at least heard of the creatures before. No continuity errors here, thank you very much. Number 4. Will we ever see the Woolly Rebellion? Admit it, a story where the Doctor and friends battle killer sheep doesn't sound all bad. Sorry. Number 5. How old was Graham's sandwich? Graham carries a cheese and pickles sarnie on his person at all times in case of emergencies. But does he knock up a fresh one every single time he leaves the TARDIS, or carry around an old sandwich in his pocket for weeks on end? Don't say we never ask the important questions. And number 6, what's going to happen in the Series 11 finale? Next week, it's episode 10, The Battle of Ranskor Av Kolos. Say that 3 times fast. The Doctor, Graham, Yaz and Ryan answer 9 separate distress calls, arriving at the remains of a battlefield. But who is Mark Addy's Paltraki? What's keeping him trapped on the planet? And who or what are the Ux? 7 days till we find out in the last episode of the series.
A cottage in winter with a chimney but no smoke. What's got you so scared?
It takes you away. It takes you away.
Thanks for joining us. For more Doctor Who news and features, be sure to head to digitalspy.com.